This is a nostalgia trip. Liquid nostalgia injected directly into your ear holes. Here on Vinesauce. Welcome, Pyre, to the stream. And, tonight we're gonna do a little something different than usual. And, well... stick around. Because I have here an SNES Classic. Okay, I haven't even booted this thing up yet, so this is the first time I'm playing one of these systems. So welcome, welcome, and we will begin. Alright, got a couple things to talk about tonight, and, well, we'll talk about them. But first, I believe English is the language I speak. No, actually... no. I kind of speak English a little bit. Not well. So we're gonna do, like, a little discussion about this. And I'll tell you what I think about the game selection, and the features, and the controller, the hardware, everything. And then after this, we'll maybe do some Steam World. So, this is an exceptional collection of games, as many of you know. Now, I don't have an NES Classic. I have never even touched an NES Classic. Because as much as I love the NES growing up, there's only a couple games on the system I would revisit to this day, and I didn't feel it was worth the stress of trying to find one of those. This is a system they produced a bit more of, a couple more of, and the Super Nintendo is my favorite system, like, of all time. So, when offered the opportunity from a wonderful chat member named Kai to, get the system, I said yes. So Kai bought it, I gave Kai the money, and it arrived safely, so thank you, Kai. I was really, really happy to get one. Even if just for the collector's kind of quality of having this thing. It's really nice. It's very small. It's kind of cute, and I like it a lot because it's so small. And it's the thing is it's a USB micro, I think, so it just goes straight from USB to that. So you can power it from like a computer. I'm powering it through an outlet that has USB. The controller is nearly identical. I can barely tell the difference between this and original Super Nintendo. So we have a couple of options. We got some frames. So there's a little stuff. Little stuff. There's a couple things. So, you know, all the overlays that you guys make for me. No longer. Not for these games, at least. Go full retro. We'll start with this, but the CRT mode, 4:3 pixel perfect. I think I'm gonna want to do 4:3, but we'll check out all of them. There's a couple of options. Gameplay demo? I don't really know what that is. There's like a screensaver. Manuals. Oh, okay. Wow. We truly are in the 21st century. So, let's see. It's Contra 3, Donkey Kong Country. Surprised Donkey Kong Country 2 isn't also included. That game is fucking unbelievable. Earthbound. You know, I just got done streaming it like 8 months ago. What was it? No, it's like 10 months ago. Kind of upset that this didn't come out then. I would have totally played it on this. FZero, I'm not really crazy about the Mode 7 stuff. This right here. This right here. Good shit. You got Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course. Oh, this should be fun. I've never played this. Obviously, Mega Man X is excellent. And I've never played it. No, I played it just recently. I completed the Mega Man X trilogy on the Super Nintendo. Secret of Mana, come on. Look at this. I mean, between Earthbound, Final Fantasy VI, and Secret of Mana, you have like 150 hours of gameplay. Maybe. or like 100, 150. Star Fox, again, I'm not sure how well Star Fox aged. We'll find out, and then we'll do some Star Fox 2. Street Fighter 2, great two-player, like, fighting. Love Castlevania 4. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I never got into. This game is brutally difficult, but we'll play a little bit of it tonight. Mario Kart, again, the Mode 7 stuff I'm not really into. Love Mario RPG. Again, just streamed it not too long ago. So, it's like, I'm a little bit late to the party here, and some of these games will not be getting use anytime soon. But Super Mario World, Super Metroid, great combo, obviously. Super Punch-Out, also excellent, and of course Link to the Past. I mean, most of these games aged really, really well, like especially Zelda, Metroid, and Mario, and Yoshi's Island. But 20 games, plus 20, I think 21 is Star Fox 2, right? 20 plus 1 they're advertising it as, I believe. But, yeah. I mean, we gotta do Mayro. For a little bit. The non-corrupted, non-he-thick version. So part of me is a little upset that there's no virtual console, but we get this instead. But from a business standpoint, it's pretty brilliant on Nintendo's part. Again, as a physical hardware, it is small. The controllers are cool. I like it. I don't think I would want the NES Classic, but I'm happy with this. Well, it's Mayro. Controller feels really, really awesome. And it's also kind of weird holding a Super Nintendo controller after years. Because, I don't know, I just... How do you, I was gonna say, how do you access the menu? But since the controller is exactly as it was years ago, there's no extra buttons to get to the menu. I think you have to actually hit reset on the console in order to do that. The controller length is short. It's not as short as the NES Classic. It's like 4.5 feet, I think. Definitely shorter than the Super Nintendo controllers were originally. I don't mind, because all of my gaming stuff is right next to my computer, so I sit pretty close to the TV anyway. Like, I'm not gonna be on the floor looking up at the system, or at the TV. So how do you do some of the save state stuff? Now, there's a couple of games that are not included in this collection that I want to talk about. In just a second. So you actually have to physically hit the reset button. Meaning, if you don't sit close to this like I do, then you have to continuously reach over to hit the reset button to change options. I guess the good news is if you want to play the games just as they were, then you can do that pretty easily. But yeah. Let's see. Oh boy, CRT mode. Well, this is quaint. Start plus select? No, that doesn't work. So, I know that the firmware isn't that hard for people to get into. I'm gonna look into that eventually, but for now I'm going to just enjoy it vanilla, as is. I love the controller. This is an excellent reproduction of the Super Nintendo controller. That's my favorite part so far. The button with the little bevels, both innie and outie, are intact. The, D-pad is sturdy and excellent. LR start select doesn't work either. So yeah, people are obviously the argument of, would you rather have this or, you know, emulate? And obviously the answer is up to you. I mean, I bought this more as a collector's item. It was offered, I thought about it for a little bit, and I said yes. NES Classic, I had a similar offer, but I did not take that one because I just didn't feel like it would be worth it. But, I like this just as a little piece of nostalgia for the Super Nintendo. The ease of access and use, like being able to bring this someplace, maybe plug the HDMI into like my laptop or someone's TV. Just bring it with me. It's in a small enough package that you can play these games pretty much wherever. That, to me, makes it kind of worth it. It's still kind of expensive for games that we've played and you can easily get for free or virtual console. But, I mean, it's kind of, again, it's really up to you. The value of it is dependent on A, are you going to play the games? B, how much do you love the games? And C, do you really need the physical hardware? Do you want the controller? Do you want the, do you want Star Fox 2? Which, by the way, again, that's been online for a while. Vinny, I watched Tokyo Idol's documentary. It was like a horror movie. I'm so sorry. So, the save points and everything are nice. I think there's a rewind as well. Let's see, so you press and hold Y, right? So then, what's... rewind? So you can, rewind it. Again, this is nothing emulators don't already have, but now you have it here. You can lock the files if you don't want to lose them. It's only 45 seconds? Okay. Let's see Pixel Perfect plus space. How is it small enough to smuggle into prison? You're gonna have to tell me. How's the input lag compared to an emulator? I've noticed no input lag, but here's the thing. I'm also playing this on a TV.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
That voice, always. I'm playing it on a TV that, like, these TVs, the LED TVs, inherently have a little bit of input lag compared to, like, a CRT. So... Metroid. This is the best border for Metroid. Confirmed. God damn it, I just finished Metroid 2, now we're gonna do Metroid 3 in full right now. No, I just did a randomized run. I'm good. I've got my Metroid fix for a while. Plus, I have Axiom Verge on the Switch again, so no, I don't... I don't need more Metroid in my life right now. I can wait. But now you know. So if you watch my Samus Return streams, this is exactly what happens next. Until Metroid 3 is remade, and they have Ridley in the beginning. Double Ridley. Like when you land on the planet, Ridley's back. For a minute, I was like, wait a minute, Ridley's already in the beginning. Fuck. Never mind. Diddley. Ridley and Diddley, the twins. But yeah, it looks good. I mean, this is pixel perfect mode. let's compare that to, once again, 4.3, which is stretched a little bit. I think that's, yeah. I mean, this is kind of what it was meant to look like, right? But yeah, it's just good emulation. What can I say? There's really not a whole lot to say. You know, the best part for me, again, is the controller and the ease of use. But otherwise, I've obviously played this game so many times in so many different ways. On a virtual console, on the real console, on the computer. And, it's fine here. And this is where the price point, and actually going out of your way to find one of these things, is going to be a little bit contentious. Because you know, there's no reason for this item to exist, let's face it. Man, these shots look so weak. Compared to like almost every other Metroid game after this, the default power beam looks like just like cracked eggs. Ridley kill incoming, takes 100 shots. We'll talk about The Last Jedi in a little bit, spoiler free, but we'll also talk about a couple other things too. Curb Your Enthusiasm had a great new episode. Not much to say other than it was great. So if you're a Curb fan, I did it. That's 100 shots. Pretty good. Do you use tongs or do you pick up cookies with your hands? Listen, you don't use tongs to pick up cookies. You're gonna pick up a cookie. Use your hands. Just only touch the cookie you're supposed to touch. No one else is gonna be eating that cookie, so as long as you're keeping your filthy hands on that cookie alone, then there's no problem. You don't want to get motherfucking foisted, Larry. I love how Leon has become like a main character. There's no reason for Leon to be on the show still. There's absolutely no good... Well, I mean, they could have written him out 2 seasons ago, but he's amazing, and he's like... He's not even a peripheral character. He's in like every episode. A lot. Larry plus Leon, best combo in television. Just saying. Get inside that asshole, Larry. Man. It's kind of cool playing this like this with an SNES controller. Just for some weird reason it reminds me of when I was a kid. But that's exactly how these things are selling. Because it reminds me of being a kid. And I'm sure it reminds many of you of being children as well. And I'm sure some of you was children when this came out and others not so much. Maybe you were eggs. Maybe you were still not even a thought yet. Who knows? Whatever the case, this thing's gonna sell. I could create a restore point, you know. Also, don't you love how you have to go left? As soon as you get on the planet? It's not right, like most video games. You just gotta go left. So, most of you, if you've been watching the streams for a while, know that Super Nintendo holds many of my favorite games. You know what? Here, I won't. I'll just do this. So we'll do that. So the Super Nintendo has some of my favorite games of all time. Obviously Super Metroid is up there. And Link to the Past. So those two right there. This may be my favorite Mario game of this style. I probably have more hours in this game than any other Mario game, except 3. However, there is one glaring... Secret of Mana as well, but there is one glaring omission, and it's Chrono Trigger. So we've got a couple of games from Square. We've got Final Fantasy, 3 in the States, but 6 everywhere else. Secret of Mana. You know, we've got some Square representation, some really good stuff. We got Mario RPG, but no Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger would have made this the best console. This little thing right here, the best thing of all time. So part of me wondered, like, I was like, why would Chrono Trigger not be on this? Is it because they're doing a remake and they want money for that, and they don't want to potentially shit in the pot? They want to make the money from the remake, but that's not true because Secret of Mana's got a remake coming out in like February, and it's here. I know there's a way to obviously hack the thing, but I'm just trying to figure out why Chrono Trigger, one of the best games ever made, is not on the system. So it's kind of it befuddles me. Same for Donkey Kong Country 2. DKC 2 is arguably better than the first one, and it would have been a great addition. So, color me confused. They already remade it for DS. Yeah, I mean, are they still making money off of that? So, yeah, those are the two big omissions for me. And, I'm happy with most of the selection, especially Castlevania. But I'm kind of surprised. What else, guys? What else is missing from this? Same background works really well. Bubsy. Secret of Evermore was good. I'd argue that Mana was better. Oh, Kirby 3, Marissa, I agree. Yeah. Shaq Fu. Mario Paint, I don't think would have aged very well, and it doesn't come with a mouse. Turtles in Time would have been a good one. Definitely. Original Pilot Wings. Let me read a couple of these other ones. Joe and Mac I loved, but I don't know if it would have been here. Super Empire Strikes Back would have been cool. I'm a little biased. Anything else? Mario All-Stars? That's an interesting selection. Tetris Attack would have been, yes. No puzzle game representation in this collection, and that's kind of frustrating. I think Tetris Attack would have been perfect. So you have to do one full level before you can unlock Star Fox 2. So in the original game, you got to choose the path, and, yeah. Mortal Kombat was good. Yeah, Mortal Kombat, Wario's Woods. There's a lot that could have been on here, but I feel like the fact that a puzzle game is not represented... We got fighting, we've got adventure, we've got action, we've got, space. You know, we've got all that, but we don't have puzzle. Tetris Attack would have been nice. FF2. Again, if they're gonna put one of each thing... Understandable, but clearly they're doing Mario World and Yoshi's Island, so that's that. I mean, they've got a bunch of different RPGs. They could have gone for Final Fantasy II. They could have easily expanded this collection to 30 games, but I guess they're holding off a bit. So let's talk about Star Fox. I fucking loved this game. This was my first real exposure to a 3D game and it blew me away. This was a Christmas or birthday gift. I don't remember, actually. But this was like a staggering achievement for the Super Nintendo, and for 9-year-old me. So my cousin and I would play this, and we would play it every week and just continue playing it. This is one of the few 3D games on the Super Nintendo that I feel holds up. The frame rate is ass. Maybe not as ass as its sequel, which we'll be checking out in a minute. But yeah, this established a fucking franchise, and for good reason. There's no targeting reticle, and that definitely, I think, sours it a little bit. So you just have to guess most of the time. But yeah, everything about this game was just amazing. I love the music, I love the characters, the levels, all the little secrets, the branching paths. This was truly... I mean, my cousin and I wrote a letter to Nintendo asking where Star Fox 2 was. Because we heard it was being made and then it wasn't released and we were pissed. But in the letter we put, "Where's Star Fox 2?" and then we put the subtitle, "Rodents in Space." That was a little joke. We were being cheeky. But yeah, the frame rates are terrible, but back in the day, man, again, this was a very impressive achievement for a Super Nintendo game. That super effects chip. And again, compared to Mode 7, I think this aged a little bit better. Most of the Mode 7 stuff is a little difficult to look at. I haven't played this in years. I've done some corruptions of this, but I haven't actually seriously put the effort in. And it's still pretty fun. There you go. Do you keep in contact with your cousin? The cousin that I grew up with, that I most frequently reference with, fond memories, we don't keep in touch as much. But we saw each other last week, and we talked about various things. I told him he should get an NES, one of these for his children. But yeah, we see each other from time to time, and, oh, 99%. And, he's good. We talk about, like, playing Star Fox every now and then. Also, the SNES Classic comes with a poster with some game descriptions, so... But yeah, I mean, it's great. We had a good time with Star Fox, and it's still good. There it is. I guess we should talk about Star Fox 2. I'm not gonna do it just yet, though. Give me a couple minutes. So Star Fox 2 did not come out because Miyamoto felt that the tech wasn't there for what they wanted to accomplish. And so it was canned. And they put some of the ideas from Star Fox 2 into Star Fox 64. It was really kind of crushing to not get Star Fox 2 because I wanted it. And then years later I ended up emulating a leaked version, and it was just okay. So here it is in an official capacity. But we'll do that last. Oh, whoops. Alright, so Castlevania. What do we want for Castlevania? I don't think we want the city. Or that. I think we want... Curtain will work. A couple more options would be nice. There are people that have problems with this game. Because the whip, being able to use it in all directions, it's like very different from the methodical pace of the previous games. But I think this is one of the best Castlevania games ever made. One day I'm gonna play through this whole game. One day soon. Eh? But it is different enough. It is different enough from the previous ones that you can kind of view it as its own thing. You know, even some of the later 2D Castlevania games that involved using the whip, they didn't implement the 8-way directional whip, so they kept it kind of classic. This is almost an anomaly. So my history with this game is as follows. Rented it a lot, never beat it, fucking died. A lot. Corrupted it much later on in life. But also, before that, would play it. I think I beat it once. I think I've streamed the Virtual Console version of this as well, but never completed it. But that was many years ago. So it's nice to have this on the system. You need a little Castlevania representation. Considering the NES Classic didn't have Castlevania 3. Oh yeah. There's the music. Oh yeah. The chat is freaking out. They love this music as much as I do. This is one of those things that kind of just happened a couple times on the Super Nintendo. Like layers. Like going behind a fence. Happened in Mario World, happened here. I mean, I completed Castlevania 3. Shit wasn't easy, but I did it. Maybe I could do this one. Should have kept the cross. This game, I feel, aged really well. And you get... the controls are actually better. Like, you have air control over Simon, as opposed to in previous Castlevania games. So there's a deliberate attempt to make this series a little bit more user-friendly. And I'd say that this is a great starting point for a lot of people to get into this series. So if you've never really played a Castlevania game, and you did get a Super Nintendo Classic, this could be a good entry. Now, while I lament the loss of the Castlevania franchise, and I'm upset we're probably not going to get anything other than Castlevania Pachinko, the Castlevania TV show, like the show, the animated show on Netflix, was fucking awesome. So it's alive and well. I only wish they had music from the games. That would have been perfect. At least we got Bloodstained coming out. So yeah, now it's just me playing Super Nintendo games. But I kinda don't mind that. Why not just call it an anime? It's an animated show. Sure, it's an anime. What, do you think that I avoided the word anime on purpose? So that the chat wouldn't make fun of me relentlessly?
Well, you're right. Hey, Luigi.
These horse heads scared the fuck out of me when I was a kid. Always gotta know where your wall hearts are. SNES only streamer, yes. Green horse in the background. Multiple green horses. This was such a weird move to have, too. The whip jiggle. There you just do... limp. Why does that look so funny? And yeah, I would recommend for anyone playing this for the first time, stick with the cross power-up. It's weak, but it can be useful. Vinny, should I buy this thing if I never had one as a kid, or is it purely nostalgic? I'd say this collection of games holds up way better than the NES Classic. These games are legit, and even now, they hold up really well, I think. So yeah, you're not gonna go wrong with this collection of games, or you just play them however you want. You know what I'm talking about. But this is a really solid set of games that still plays really well. And most of the indie games that are coming out today, or not most, but a good chunk of the indie games that are based on retro games feel like the games in this collection. So... yeah, I mean, just play them, man. If you haven't played, like, Secret of Mana or Castlevania, or, Super Metroid or Link to the Past, play them however you can. Doesn't matter if you can find one of these machines. Which is why I was so excited to get this, in some ways. But yeah, expect a challenge if you play Castlevania 4. Speaking of challenge, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Capcom. This game is miserable. I played it a couple times. I can't get past like level 2. Don't expect much from me while playing this game. It's gonna suck. So when people mention N64 Classic, like if that's gonna be a thing, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, here we go. 1991. You'll notice the primitive SNES graphics. What the fuck kind of cinematography is this? If there was an N64 Classic, I could think of 20 games to put on it. N64 had a great library. The problem is, in the same way NES Classic maybe didn't age too well, I think some of the the N64 games probably also don't age very well. Whether it be frame rates, or fog, or just the weird controller. I think it would be a big turn-off to some people. I mean, this game also has amazing music, but look how slow progress is. Amazing. Expect that all the time. But yeah, Paper Mario has definitely aged well. There's a lot of games on the N64 that are really good and still hold up. But I wouldn't be as excited for an N64 Classic as I would be for, say, a virtual console for the Switch, for the portability. Man, and Nintendo was worried about... Look at this fucking shit. And Nintendo was worried about the, emulators taking away game sales. Meanwhile, between this and the NES Classic, Nintendo has made a killing. So, one of the more unforgiving elements of this game that is beyond frustrating is that you can't correct your jump mid-air. So you're just committed. Unless you use the double jump to correct. But yeah, it's like kind of an arcadey game. I think it started out in the arcades. Could be wrong. There we go again, behind the fence. They loved showing off this layer stuff. Nintendo probably sold the Super Nintendo dev kit as like, listen, you can go behind fences. Yeah, the knife is better. I would not recommend the flame or the bow. Bow is okay, but flame is absolute trash. I'm gonna do one more life. There we go. But yeah, that arcade difficulty is still here, and it's pretty fucking miserable. But yeah, I got an SNES the Christmas it came out, and Mario World was a very dangerous, goddammit, was a very dangerous game for me to have, because I just did that all the time. Yeah, I'm not really into this game, honestly. Definitely not my style. Street Fighter, you know about Street Fighter. We're gonna do Kirby's Dream Course in a second, but I want to show you the FZero game. I didn't have FZero. Now, you've probably seen some of my corruptions. This game was pretty cool when it first came out, but eh. Mode 7. It plays well. You know, for a 2D racing game. Well, 2D, Mode 7 racing game. You'd be surprised how nicely the controls are, like, how good the controls are, how nicely it plays. Especially for a game that you have to manipulate your thing in a 3D space with a D-pad, it works really well. Nintendo took, you know, care to make sure that it played well. But it's as crispy as it comes. You don't get much crispier than this. And it's smooth, that's the other nice thing. But yeah, as a like a kind of a tech demo type game in the 90s, good shit. Someone in chat just said, how does the Super Nintendo have so much good music? Some of the most memorable video game music ever is on this system. And it's right here on the classic with Secret of Mana, Final Fantasy, Mario RPG, this, Zelda, fucking Super Metroid, Mario. Between all these games and Kirby Superstar, yeah, the music alone on this thing. Stanky. I forgot about Stanky Cantry. Stanky dank manky. You can't really... I mean, you can't really make instruments sound real. But there's a couple games that took full advantage of all the tools they had available. Like, Secret of Mana actually had some samples of real pianos. And, I think even Chrono Trigger made good use of the sound chip. Donkey Kong used samples. So you combine MIDI with some, like, reverb and some of the other tricks, plus some samples, and you can get some nice sounding music. And besides, the MIDI is what makes it, you know, kind of gives it character. Like the Final Fantasy VI sound font, I love. Oh yeah, I forgot about the boost. Isn't that cool? Good for me. Good for me. Yeah, I genuinely forgot about it. But yeah, the suspend points are nice. I forgot about Earthbound, that's another great soundtrack. So here's another balls hard game. Less balls hard than Super Ghouls and Ghosts, but still pretty spicy. MIDI is a different thing, you're talking about chip tunes. Oh, fair enough then. A lot of people reference this when discussing Cuphead. I think that it's a pretty obvious influence, but they're still very different. Okay, I got the spread shot. I'm good. Never mind. So I never owned this game. This was emulated years later for me. So that was my experience. Wow. Wow! You know, at one point I was able to get to stage 2. You can't even, for a second, stand up. No damage allowed. Nice doggy, right? Nope, devil. This is a good two-player game, though. Good. Fucking awesome music again. There we go. Now we're good. This is the type of firepower you need in Contra, so as not to take all the damage that I was taking. I couldn't even see where my dude was for a second. Yeah, there's definitely some challenge. And again, one hit. That's why when people say Cuphead and this game have similarities, yeah, they do, but I'd say this game is actually even harder than Cuphead. And Cuphead is at least forgiving. There's no lives. You don't have to start, like, from, you know, an entire level back. Cuphead has some forgiveness. Oh. So how many bosses is this so far? Oh, alright, it's not a boss, that's just everything's fucked. Right. Anyway, you get the picture. It's a great game. Still kicks my ass. Unforgiving. Challenging. One of the things that makes it challenging, or at least I'd say more challenging than Cuphead, is the lives. Just any game with lives. That's that unforgiving. Mario Odyssey is actually eschewing lives. Totally gone. Kirby. Here's a game I've never played. So I played Kirby Superstar. Never this one. I guess I'm a new member. I'm a member of the Kirby Club. Oh really? We're doing this? I control good. So, what is this? I don't even know what this game is. Is it golf? Is it golf-esque? What the fuck? Oh. Oh boy. Why do I get to inflate? Oh wait, I'm Kirby, never mind. This is normal in the Kirby universe, not weird. Okay, and I got a tomato. So you have to kill a couple and then you go in the hole. Huh. How did I miss this? How did I never find this game? Ooh, too fast. How do I change my iron? Oh, you can bounce. Here you go. I'm good at this. I'm really good at this. You can imagine how good I am at Golf Story. Ah. Ah! Someone in chat just said, "It's okay, Vinny. This game is actually balls hard." There's a lot of balls in the game. It's cool, though. It's a cool concept. I mean, I'm not, like, a huge golf fan, but I was always a big Mario Golf fanatic. Golf Story's pretty cool. You could put spin on Kirby. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Stay. Kirby knows that he can just walk over there. Kirby's just being difficult. Kirby! Oh! Go in! Oh, the arrow! The arrow! Vinny, are you a game journalist? Overnight, I became one. I was one secretly all along. Yeah, that's too much power. It's weird, because in Mario Golf, it shows you, the line shows you how far it goes, and you can adjust based on that, and this, not so much. Alright. Okay, I admit defeat. I don't know if you need to see the rest of these games because you've seen them so many times. I admit defeat. Kirby has destroyed me. Let me play a minute of Kirby Superstar at least. I need to go to my baby games real quick. This was a heavy rental until years later when I actually got it. So, for those that don't know, and I'm sure there's plenty that don't, somehow, this is like a collection of different Kirby games, and they're all really good, and you have to unlock some of them. So there's mini games, there's full games, and there's Spring Breeze, which is a remake of the first Kirby. You get like little helpers and everything. You can make out with your helpers. What was Kirby's original name? Wasn't it like... Yeah, there you go, there's the making out. It was like doo-doo poopy pants or something? Po-po-po? It was po-po-po. Oh, by the way, just in case you haven't seen this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yo! What the f-
You want penis enlargement pills?
I think that's my favorite thing I've seen all year. Actually. So here's something that I can say about the Super Nintendo Classic that I don't think I could say about the the NES Classic. As much as I love some of the games on the NES Classic, if you've never played some of these games before, or these series, almost every one of the games on here is a good place to start. So if you've never played Zelda, and there are plenty of people who haven't, if you've never played Metroid, Kirby, Mario, these are the places, these are the games you want to start. Because these are like some of the best iterations of the games, and some of the earliest ones too. So it just really works. And then, you know, then you can go backwards. Like, so if you're into Zelda, maybe then go back to the NES ones, and then if you're into Mario, check out Mario 3. Mario. So this game has a soft reset built in. Saves your progress. So. Gourmet race is kind of cool. It's a race for the most food. Kirby versus DDD. We got some good corruptions out of this not too long ago. Like, there's just so much to do in this game. So yeah, just a series of little races. Mini games, full games, unlockables. One of the most complete packages on this collection. Alright. You know the rest of the games. I'm sure you all have seen at least most of these games, but... or at least a couple. If you haven't, you know, eventually I'll return to this, but... for the moment, we need to do Star Fox 2.